Hey everybody, this is Nick. I've been meaning to do this video for a while. Just gotten around to doing it. The video I'm going to be talking about is, relation to the Connecticut school shootings they had. I've watched a few videos by different people. Some claiming that this guy was crazy. Some people saying he was government thing. The government made him do it. I've heard stories ranging from the simplest to the craziest. But I gotta tell you, I've worked in a hospital for 3 years. I'm a patient safety attendant, or we were called patient sitters at the time. My job is to monitor a patient who is either considered a fall risk, suicidal, or may need to be under observation for. I have I've been doing this almost 4 years now, and I've seen a lot of different variations of psychiatric disorders, ranging from somebody who has Alzheimer's to bipolar schizophrenic. Now, a lot of patients I've seen have been brought in. Some have come in on their own free will. Some who have originally was a suicide attempt, they took a handful of pills. They came in because they didn't want to die. I dealt with patients who have who've taken drugs, who were brought in by family, or they've been even brought in by the police. I've had several encounters where the police department has actually physically had to bring somebody into the ER because they weren't taking their medication. They were threatening people. They were acting crazy, or they did something in front of a police officer that concerned him to a point where he brought the person in. Now, I've seen things ranging from teenagers, who have histories of, who have tried to kill themselves because, they have these problems at home, or ranging from, even from somebody's grandmother who's 98 years old and still thinks, that Kennedy is in the White House. And I gotta tell you, but the school shooting, I'm trying to get off track here, but I think the one part of this whole school shooting, I'm not a doctor, I don't claim to be. My feeling definitely towards this, it was not a government conspiracy. Based on my experience in all the years I've been doing this, there had been some deep-rooted trouble in this kid's past. Whether he had schizophrenia, he was bipolar, he had something happen to him, or because nobody just one day grabs a gun and starts shooting everyone. Whether or not some people do, some don't. Now, since he's dead, we can't. The police can't say, well, we've interviewed him and he told us he'd been planning this for months in advance. I feel this may have been pre-planned because, one, this is just my guess. I'm probably going to get some common sense, but, this kid came in with an AR-15 assault rifle, a Glock, and I can't remember the other. He came with two handguns, one assault rifle. The rifle he came in was with an AR-15. It's a .223 caliber rifle. He came in, I believe, with both were 9mm or .45 calibers. I've used both. I do hunting. I do target shooting. I've used both of those. I don't own any of them. But the guns that he used. He didn't just walk and say, "I'm going to walk in and then I'm going to put the gun in my head and I'm going to shoot myself." He came in. He killed his mother at home. He came to school. Shot the principal. Shot the children. Which something like this should never happen, especially at this time of the year. I'm guessing, they're gonna find something. There's gonna be, maybe the kid mother took him to see a doctor. Maybe they said, what, he doesn't need to see a doctor. Our son's not crazy. He's not weird. He's just expressing himself. Now, were there warning signs with him? Maybe. There may have been, there may not have been. My question is, though, I don't mean to bring up other school shootings, like Virginia Tech, Columbine, the Omni School Massacre. I mean, I hate to use Columbine, it's been almost about 12 years now, almost 13. There were constant warning signs with these two individuals that, these kids were planning something, I mean, they maybe, they said, if anyone would have told these kids, saying, hey, these two guys, look, they've been talking about killing people, they're talking crazy, I mean, if they were brought to, I mean, I've known people who I've had to deal with, that I've dealt with through the hospital, who their family have called the police. The police department have gone to their house and say, look, I don't want him in my house anymore. I'm in fear for my life. I'm scared that he's going to do something. He said he's going to get a gun. He's going to come back and he's going to shoot me. Now, sometimes those things don't happen. Other times they do. Now, I want to tell everybody that, if you, let's say if you're, you're 12 years old, you're 13, you're a kid, threats like that are not something you want to take lightly. I mean, if somebody came up to you and said, some kid you got into an argument with, and he said, tomorrow I'm going to bring a gun, I'm going to shoot you in the head. Tell somebody. I mean, don't look at it as being a snitch, because what's to say that you don't tell anybody. The next day, kid brings a gun, bam. Or you're living in an apartment, and there's that one guy, there's a person, man, woman, what have you, who's talking, who's acting weird. You hear him. He's talking about all these crazy. He starts sounding like he's talking crazy. There's no law that says you cannot. If you want to call the police department, or the sheriff's department, state police, say, look, I got this guy here. I live at this. I'm at this apartment. Or one of my neighbors. He's acting weird. He's talking about, saying, I'm stockpiling all these weapons for, martial law or the end of the world. If somebody starts talking like that, you're concerned. If you have a wife and kids, you call the police department and tell them, say, hey, I want you to send an officer over and look at this guy. Because this guy's, he's acting weird. He's staying stockpiling his weapons. If you could please send an officer over and check this. Now, I had a personal experience once, actually, with a person one time. They actually made some threats against me. I contacted the police department. They had no problem. Thankfully, we cleared the issue up. The guy was angry at me, for this girl I used to date. And the police, I went to the station. I walked in. I said, hey, I'm concerned about this threat he made. I have it, the voicemail he left me. The officer listened to the voicemail, called their house, and I advised them when I told them. I said, hey, look, I've been in their house previously, and they've got guns around their house. Thankfully this turned out to be nothing. Well, this is Nick. So if you guys want to leave me a comment, or you have a question, if you have a concern or any comments, feel free to send them to me in email or in my inbox, and I will get back to you. Thank you.